Hello, Rich Rosen, Fastcall CEO and founder, and we're going to talk about caller ID for outbound calls in our application. So I am here looking at Salesforce Classic. We could just as well be in Lightning or Console. The widget is in the left sidebar in Classic. If we were in Console or Lightning, it would be in the footer. And our settings inside the widget are here under the gear icon. So we're going to make an outbound phone call, but we want to be able to change our caller ID, or maybe we're just setting the caller ID for the first time. So let's click here, and we're going to see our user settings in the widget, and in a few minutes I'll show you how these are also set up in the application. So inside the widget we have our calling devices, which we've talked about in our video on outbound phones. So calling devices, just to go over that again, could be a soft phone or a hard phone or mobile phone. And those phones are different than caller ID. So caller ID is the phone number that we're going to show on the outbound caller ID. And of course, that may vary depending upon the phone that's receiving the call, but that's the phone number we're going to send as caller ID. The soft phone in this example here doesn't have a number associated to it. So a soft phone will always need a caller ID. Though if I was on my office phone, the caller ID of the office phone is not automatically set in the application. So if you're going to use the office phone with our application to make an outbound call, you also need to set that caller ID. And again, that might match. So it might be the same number as your office phone, or you might want it to be different. You may want to say, I'm going to make my outbound calls on my office phone, but I'm going to show a fast call number as caller ID. And you may want to show a different number as caller ID. You may want to show the phone number for the Chicago office, though you're calling from New York. Or you might want to use that local caller ID where we're matching the caller ID based upon the area code of the number that you're dialing, and we call that local. So whether it's the local area code caller ID or just a local office caller ID, or you want to use your mobile phone as caller ID, that's all sort of managed here under caller ID. We do give you a little link here to the settings inside the application so that you can go, and I'll show you right now how you're actually going to go set those up. So inside the application, we have user settings, which are called My Settings, and there's also the admin settings. So phones for caller ID can are managed inside the application. Here they're called, we do it under provisioned phone numbers, and this includes both the provisioned phone numbers and your verified caller IDs, and both those phones can be used as caller ID. So a provisioned phone number is a phone number that you're provisioning in Fastcall that can also receive inbound calls and can be used as caller ID. So we'll see here, if I click on this number, it'll say use as caller ID. So it says caller ID assignment, user, me. So that's a phone number I've provisioned inside the application that I'm using as caller ID. This number also happens to be SMS capable. But there are other numbers here that are just verified. So this is a mobile phone, which of course is not in Fastcall. So this number is verified as a caller ID, also assigned to this user, but it's a verified number. It's not a provisioned phone, so that's managed here. So I can add as many verified numbers as I need, which could be existing office phones, could be phone numbers in conference rooms, just depends upon what I want to show as my caller ID. Or I can add provisioned phones, which will act as both caller ID and will have the ability to route inbound calls. Awesome. If you do need any additional information on BeLocal, we have a separate page and video that talks about specifically about BeLocal, or you can shoot us an email, support@fastcall.com, and we look forward to answering any questions.